Hey everyone, what is up everyone? Today is Tuesday, June 30th, 2020. Tomorrow is July 1st. As you guys know, I am Canadian, so happy Canada Day tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be off, but tomorrow I'll be trading because the market is still gonna be open, right? So tomorrow I'll be trading, but happy Canada Day. July 1st is Canada Day, so happy Canada Day. We gotta celebrate. And so let's take a look at the market today. The market has been going exactly what we have been expecting, which is going up and to this particular supply zone, right? So let's take a look. Let me bring up my rectangular tool and put the time frame into hourly right now, and you can see that here. Previously, we have a huge amount of consolidation for more than 15th 24th, so that's more than almost 9 trading sessions, and a lot of people bought here or were losing money when the market came down. Now the market is going back up to retest this level. As you can see that it basically got rejected today, and it's just consolidating here. So what I'm expecting is tomorrow, tomorrow I think the market is probably going to. Where's my drawing tools? Seriously. Okay, right here. Tomorrow market is probably going to retest, probably try to climb into this level, but I think the supply over here, plus the supply over here, a lot of sellers over here, and people still holding the bag over here, and also the entire thing reached over here. So a lot of people who have bought here, they are probably eager to break even. I think we're gonna see some suppliers coming in, and the market might tip over. So I'm thinking that in order for this market to make another new high, just judging from this market structure, right? Previously, I talked about my other scenario. I was expecting this. I was expecting this just very quick bounce, quick reversal, then just keep going up, right? Make a new high from this level, but it never happened, and it turns out the market was consolidating and distributing for a long time in the zone, which is not very good because you're trapping a lot of buyers in the zone, and when the price come back up, these buyers become supplies, become sellers, and that's unfortunately might just gonna happen. And what's gonna happen here? I think we might not be able to break this region. We might see the price to tip over, and then just a very quick run down to a level here. This would be a very nice correction for the market because it should be very swift and should be going straight down. So a lot of sellers, a lot of weak hands got shaken out, and a lot of stronger hands are buying. And then we might consolidate here and make a new high. That's what I'm saying that this market could do, in my opinion. If the other situation is that if we're able to penetrate this level and continue to climb up, which is kind of unlikely based on my, more than a decade of experience, I don't think the market can go back up that easily because we had this kind of structure here, okay? Because we had this structure here. I don't think the market can just go through this level very easily. So I am expecting something like this happen in the market, which is perfectly fine. I'll be liquidating more of my shares when it goes back into this zone tomorrow. Intraday, if that does happen, I will be liquidating more shares at a pretty good profit now, okay? If it does climb back up there. Okay, let's see. Cryptocurrency. When are you going to go up? Seriously, cryptocurrency. Crypto freaking currency. Seriously? Where are you gonna go up? I don't know, man. Getting impatient. These kind of consolidation can last for many months. It's just simply a waste of your capital. I have quite a bit of capital trapped into this, and I can't take it out right now because I've been waiting for so long. And this could, I mean, I bought them, around this level. That's my price average, so I am definitely in profit. But I don't want to sell right now, so that maybe any day now, this thing could um, explode to the upside, in my opinion. And I just can't sell right now. Honestly, I've made those kind of mistakes in the past before because I have lost my patience. I sold my shares too early, right before the explosive events. And right now, I just can't. I won't sell. It doesn't matter. Not I can sell. Of course I can. Just click a button. I mean, it's really unwise. It's really unwise to sell. Really unwise to sell if you have be holding from this particular level. Okay. And I want to show you guys something here. That kind of interesting thing. Okay. I have traded this stock before, Ericsson. Now this stock has a very long history. You guys know Sony Ericsson. Ericsson is I believe they are a Swedish company, and they are one of the largest telecommunication company in the world. And they produce all sorts of equipment and hardware for cell towers. So when the mobile phone was taking off, then your cell providers, like for example AT&T or Singular. Singular was decade ago. AT&T, T-Mobile, right? All these cell providers, they had to buy certain equipments from companies so they can have these cell towers operating in the public. And a lot of these equipments came from Ericsson. Ericsson produced a lot of these high-end equipments for enterprise, for cell providers. So mobile phone blew up. Obviously, Ericsson took advantage of that market, took advantage of the boom, and the stock went up, almost 100-fold back in, the 90s. That's when the mobile phone first came out, and it peaked in the 2000, that during dot-com bubble, when all the technology companies just went completely overvalued, right? Explosive. And you can see this kind of move, right? This is 1992 to 2000. You're talking about a almost the same period between 2010 when the Bitcoin came out to 2017. So you're talking about a 7-year period where this stock has gone up by let me see, went up by 56 times, 57 times. And so is Bitcoin. Obviously the performance is slightly better. You're talking about 183 times. But if you have bought the stock a bit earlier, you're talking about 141 times. All these kind of crazy stuff, right? That's only a 10-year holding period. You can be making 100 times, 141 times. So in history, so my point is, don't think that Bitcoin is special, okay? We have these kind of performance profile for a lot of technology companies in the past. Bitcoin, if you look at Bitcoin as a technology company, and the performance profile has happened before with these kind of companies like Ericsson, like Amazon, Yahoo. If you look at Yahoo's charts back in the 2000, before the 2000, you will see the similar explosive growth. You will be making a 50 times of your initial investment from these kind of companies. Okay, so the reason I am looking at this is because I have traded this company before. Okay, I've invested in this company before. Back in very early on, I was looking at it back in 2008 and 2009 when the market bottomed. I thought that could be a good turning point for this company. Unfortunately, this company never really took off. I bought a little bit here, and it basically kind of hovered around for like almost several months, and I gave up. I lost my patience, and it turns out it never took off. If you look at this, so that was that's when the patience runs out, and that is a good case when your patience runs out, because if I stay here for a long time, I will have made no money for almost a decade, right? And that won't be fun. And so you really have to recognize your investment opportunity when you should exit a trade because your patience run out, or when you should stay. Okay, and so understanding the market structure, understanding market pattern, understanding fundamentals, understanding all sorts of financial aspects are extremely important for the purpose of investing or speculation. In my opinion, just the same thing. You really have to understand all aspects of information given by the market. You can't just be looking at a chart, try to come up with ideas, or you can't be just looking at the fundamentals and trying to enter the market without figure out the proper timing and proper cost structure, a proper cost entry, and proper price level, right? So let's take a look. The reason I want to talk about this is because Ericsson is a very interesting example. Okay, so let's take a look at its price action back in the 1980s. That is something has always been kind of intriguing to me. And when I was looking at Bitcoin, it kind of reminded me of Ericsson. And let me just show you this. So you can see that in the 80s, in 83, Ericsson had a kind of a top here. I mean, this probably doesn't mean anything. I just want to show you. It's kind of interesting. A nice history lesson. Let me just put this into a line graph so you guys can see this. So Ericsson came up, and what happened is it came down again, made a couple consolidation. So it came up here. I would say these two are kind of a similar structure. It came down again, and it made some consolidation, came up here again. And it has a kind of flush. You see right here? You see what I'm getting at? It came up again, then if you imagine you're trading here, you probably think, oh crap, I mean this thing is gonna take off soon. If you're bullish, you have bullish tendency on this particular company, right? And it turns out right now it crashed. It basically took out this particular level, right? And it crashed pretty hard here, but it settled to a pretty low level. And a lot of people got shaking out here. The whales came in and start buying. Then what's interesting happened. Imagine you're trading here. There's a reason I don't want to sell here, because after a flush like this, it's really unwise to expect the market to flush again. The chance of that is not very high, based on my experience, I look at historical data. Okay, the chance of this flushing again to a lower level is very, very low, because this bottom is very V-shaped. So the buyer is pretty eager to buy when the price reaches this level. So there are a lot of buyers willing to buy here. So it's very unlikely they're gonna get a second chance at this very good price. Okay, this just tells me that a lot of buyers are very eager to buy at this particular level, and I doubt the market's gonna come back. Just like here, it flushed down, and it only stayed there for a little while, bottom only a little while, and then it just completely went up, right, to the previous, almost close to the high. Now, this part is interesting when it starts consolidating. Let me just go back to the uh, bar chart here. This part is interesting because the price couldn't really break out of the previous top, the previous high here. And it just tried to consolidate and accumulate energy. And in hindsight, everything's 2020. But if you are imagining you're trading here, you can't really see the future, right? You just got flushed, and now the market bounced back. Normally, you think if you think about it, this thing has been going around this kind of up and down, up and down, up and downs for the last 5 years. This is 5 years, right? 1983 to 1988. As an investor, what would you expect here? Would you expect this to have another dip, right? That's what a human mind tend to think, right? Human mind tend to think what happened before would happen again, tend to happen again, because we are pattern recognizer. We look at the previous pattern that happened in the previous years, and just like Bitcoin right now, we probably because we had a flush, really scary flush down the drain back in March, and when the market consolidates here again, because the market consolidated here, market consolidated here, market consolidated here again, and as a human being, you're probably thinking, oh my God, are we going to go down again? So imagine you're here, the market consolidate goes down, you're here. As a human being, you probably were expecting this thing to come down again. But it did it. That was it. That was the end of it. In fact, if you sold here, oh man, you are like a sucker, right? You've been holding for, imagine you're a long-term investor, you've been holding for 5 years, and you're so tired of this kind of volatility, of the flush, everything, your portfolio is just always in the red, always in the green, and it's in the green briefly, and all the time it's just into red. You probably, by the time you get to here, the news, the mainstream news is probably very negative sentiment. Just like right now for Bitcoin, I just got a notification this morning from Binance, and saying that the Bitcoin could drop to 6,000. I get one notification today from Binance on a news article, and it's very bearish news. So Binance basically push out a notification. If they push out like hundreds of notifications, then I'll be fine. There are bullish news and bearish news. But this morning, I got a notification from Binance, and it's a bearish news. And that's the only notification I got for the entire freaking day. Okay, that's how bearish the market is. Maybe they're getting paid by the whales just to try to keep the price down for longer so they can accumulate. Whatever that is, that the market sentiment right now is definitely not positive. Another thing I wanted you guys to look at is Skew.com. Let me show you. Skew.com allows you to see Bitcoin futures and Ethereum future Bitcoin options and their profiles. And one very important thing that you want to look at is this perpetual swap funding rate. When the funding rate is negative, it usually means the market sentiment is is bearish. So you can see that the funding rate has been in a negative zone for almost the entire June, actually. So most exchanges have a negative funding rate. It means in general, the future traders are not very bullish. And this is very different. This is a very different funding rate graph from last March. Last March, I was seeing funding rate for all the exchanges above zero, actually way above zero. And now the sentiment is very different. It's extremely different. It's extremely different from where we were here. The sentiment, despite the price range is similar. The sentiment, the positioning of the market, the market structure, the underlying, I would say the contracts are very, very different from we were here and we were here. Right now, people are so tired because of flush, because all these flushes for the last a year. and most holders are probably sold. They're probably waiting for another dip to buy, and it's very likely the dip's not going to be there for them. And what's interesting here is that you can see that once if you there's a flush, and if you sold here, you couldn't stand the consolidation, the low volatility of doing nothing. This is 149 days, and right now we are only 68 days in. So these kind of consolidation could last even longer. You see that? But I mean, it could happen anytime. So imagine you were a investor of Ericsson back in the 1988. You would be holding for such a long period of time, and you would be very, very bored. You would be frustrated with the stock, right? Imagine you're holding this for 5 years. Bitcoin still better than Ericsson because at least we get some volatilities. Since 2019, we have more volatilities. I think the Bitcoin price in general just moves faster than this company. This is because the speed of information just so much faster than back in the 80s. Obviously, everyone has a mobile phone, so the stocks will move faster. The volatility would be more. But the thing is, I want to show you here. You don't want to miss this trade because look at this, 1988. After that, it went completely insane. In 2 years, you hold on for this for 5 years doing nothing, but in 2 years, only 2 years, you will be making from this particular level a 495% return, which is very good. This is 500%. Actually, this is more than 5. This is 600%. This is 6 times your initial capital, right? This is a almost 500% increase from. You don't even need to buy the bottom. You don't even need to catch the bottom. You just have to catch the midpoint or before you took off. Even if you're a breakout buyer, if you caught it here when you took off, you still made 400% increase from your cost, and that's amazing, right? So you don't want to sell here. You definitely don't want to sell here. If the price comes down, you should buy more. Anyway, but what's interesting, when I was looking at this again, at this company, I traded for a decade ago. What's interesting is that I found this pattern kind of interesting because if I just take this, I mean this is just probably coincidence, but you gotta see this. It's kind of it's just so weird. I took this pattern, right? I paste it here. Oh, what do I see here? You guys see this? I mean, the human behavior are similar across history. This is what I noticed. Almost every single the bubble, the mania, the pop. After that, it leaves a similar price trails. Is that because the human psychology is constant, and the mass psychology is just so consistent throughout history because we, as a species, our biological evolution is very, very slow. Okay, our technological evolution right now is just explosive, but our biological evolution just couldn't keep up with technology, couldn't keep up with the modern world. We still have the similar, lizard brain, so to say, right? Our lizard mind that's built into our psychology. And although in hindsight, it's insane to sell right here after you have gone through all this, but most people probably sold at this consolidation. They couldn't hang on to the last 100 days before the victory. They just couldn't. A lot of heroes, they died right before they succeeded, right before the potential victory. And that's why only few people could succeed in anything. It's because they couldn't persist. It's because usually the way the human psychology is constructed is that most people would just fail before something, right before the success, and that's why there are only so few people were able to succeed and really become what they meant to be. Okay, and this happens in anything. It happens in entrepreneurship. It happens in trading. It happens in getting a good grades in school, just being trying to achieve anything that's better than the average is very difficult because you're competing against the millennia of human psychology, millennia of human nature, I guess. Anyway, so you can see that here. I just copied the thing here. Okay, and what's the next step? Is this thing gonna explode soon? We'll see. Okay, thanks for listening, and happy July 1st. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please thumbs up if you like this video, and I'll do some more in-depth analysis on talking about history lessons, talking about my past trading success and failures. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and see you next time.